For families of the hostages, it's been nearly a month of desperation. Lynda Kinkade sat down with 3 Israelis who, between them, had more than a dozen family members abducted. They say they're a peaceful people who only want their relatives back.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry for what you're dealing with. All 9 family members were taken by Hamas. 2 have been released, 3 killed. How are you coping?
You know, coping is a really big word. I think each and every day I wake up and I just start doing everything I can, everything in my power to try to bring them back in any means necessary.
2 of your family members were released, Judith and her teenage daughter Natalie, Renan. Describe the moment when you saw those 2 family members walk across the border from Gaza.
They've been through hell. They got back in the same clothes that they were kidnapped in. We were relieved by their release and thankful for the American administration and President Joe Biden for the efforts to bring them back. It gave us a lot of hope for returning the other family members and all the other hostages.
Have they spoken to you about those weeks in captivity?
We spoke a lot. What has been said in these conversations are between us. We're just happy to have them back. And with that, we don't have the privilege to celebrate, as well as the privilege to mourn our dead family members, which was buried through these days. I can't allow myself to really open myself to feel something because it can break me down, and I really need to keep going every second until they are all back.
Of all the family members that have been taken hostage by Hamas, the youngest is just 3 years old. What are your hopes for the coming days, the coming weeks, in terms of getting news of your loved ones?
When you see the innocence of someone who has literally her whole life ahead of her, and then you try to imagine where she is now, under a tunnel, at gunpoint. She's 3 years old. We are at a point that any news is good news. We hope for any sign of life.
Shanique, your cousin, Rimon, and her husband, Yagiv, were captured by Hamas. What do you know about what happened to them?
My cousin got into a safe room, and at 7 in the morning, she started to say that she sees terrorists outside of her window. The kibbutz is built line by line. The houses are line by line. So she saw them moving line by line, using explosives, yelling, shooting. So at 8:25 in the morning, she texted her mom and said, "Mom, they're shooting at us. The window is shattered." She then left her mom a voice message at 8:30 in the morning. She told her that she loves her, she loves her dearly, and she's sorry she's not there with her. And that was it. And at 3:30, when the army reigned control in the kibbutz, they found the house, glass shattered, bullet holes, signs of struggle, some blood, and they were gone.
And Shanique, Hamas has released a video of your cousin pleading for a ceasefire. We're not going to show that video, but I would like to gauge your reaction upon seeing that and hearing what she said.
So first and foremost, thank you for not showing it. Secondly, when I saw the video, my first reaction was to smile because she's alive. Just imagine for 3 weeks not knowing. Over 3 weeks now. Not knowing if she's alive or dead. Not knowing if she's well.
Several hostages have been released or rescued. Does that give you hope?
It's a very tricky question. Because I have hope. I've had hope for the past 3.5 weeks. But we're dealing with a terror organization.
The Israeli Prime Minister has rejected calls for a ceasefire, saying now is the time for war. Qatar, which is negotiating hostage releases, has said that would jeopardize our negotiations. What do you think about that risk?
I plead and even demand that anyone who has any influence on this matter put the hostages on the first priority.
The community that was affected the most on October 7th was a community that fought the most for coexistence and believed in peace and did everything in their power to push for it. We are peaceful people. We want peace. We don't want revenge.
If I can turn to you, Ilan, your sister-in-law, Aviva, and her husband, Keith, aged in their 60s, grandparents, taken hostage by Hamas. What can you tell us about them?
Aviva has dedicated her life to, she's a kindergarten caretaker. She takes care of babies. Her life is family. My wife Sandy says all the time that if Aviva is in Gaza and if she's taking care of babies, she's going to be okay, because that's her life. Keith is just like one of these very friendly. He comes to any place he comes, says hello to everyone. He's just super friendly. Both of them are just gentle people. It's the last thing I would ever imagine for them.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories, and I really hope that you are reunited with your loved ones very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.